What if saving your whole life is the reason you're missing it? In this video, we're diving into a book that flips everything you've been taught about money, time, and happiness. This isn't about dying rich, it's about living full. If you've ever wondered when it's finally your turn to enjoy life, it's now. Welcome to Die with Zero. Let's change the way you live before it's too late. It started with a man sitting on a beach. He was in his 60s. His career was long behind him. He'd made the right moves, saved every bonus, skipped the vacations, delayed the dreams. His bank account was healthy. His body? Not so much. His energy? Fading fast. As he stared at the ocean, he realized something chilling. He had money to spend, but no time left to enjoy it. His knees hurt. His kids were grown. His spirit for adventure had dulled. And the worst part? He had sacrificed the best years of his life to build a future he couldn't even use. That man wasn't lazy. He wasn't dumb. He was doing what everyone told him to do: work hard, save more, retire smart. But now, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he felt what no spreadsheet ever warned him about: regret. That's where the idea for Die with Zero began. Because Bill Perkins saw a pattern most people miss. People aren't running out of money. They're running out of life. He looked around and saw smart, well-meaning Americans turning their lives into nothing but a countdown to retirement. Saving obsessively, working endlessly, deferring joy, all with this hope that someday would be worth it. But someday doesn't always come. People get sick. Kids grow up. Parents pass away. Dreams fade. And that's the tragedy. By the time most people can finally afford to live, they've already forgotten how. But it doesn't start with big tragedies. It starts small. A guy in his 30s skipping a trip because there's always next year. A woman canceling a dinner because we should save more this month. A young couple postponing their honeymoon until they're more stable. They think they're being responsible, smart, strategic. But what they're really doing is killing their own peak experiences, the moments that would have made their lives unforgettable. You can earn more money, but you can't rewind time. And that's where most people go wrong. They treat time like it's infinite and money like it's not. Perkins flips that thinking on its head. He doesn't just ask, "Are you saving enough?" He asks something deeper. Are you spending your life in a way that makes dying with regrets impossible? And that means you have to stop chasing maximum wealth. Because the goal isn't to die with millions. The goal is to die with nothing left to give, except memories. But that idea? It punches against everything we've been taught. We live in a country that glorifies grinding. Hustle, sacrifice. We cheer for people who work until 10 p.m. We admire those who never take a vacation. And we quietly judge the ones who do. But what if the truth is this? You don't win by saving everything. You win by living everything. That's why Perkins gives us a whole new scorecard. Not net worth, but net fulfillment. And to get there, you have to stop living on autopilot. You have to track your most valuable currency, not your dollars, but your time buckets. Because not every year is created equal. Climbing Machu Picchu at 30 is not the same as doing it at 70. Backpacking through Europe in your 20s isn't replaceable in your 50s. And taking your kids to Disneyland at age 8? That window closes faster than you think. Each phase of your life has unique opportunities. Miss them, and they're gone. That's why he tells people, map out your experience curve. Ask yourself, what do I want to do before I'm too old, too busy, or too broken down to enjoy it? And then, spend the money. Not recklessly, not carelessly, but with intent. Buy the memory, book the trip, take your parents to that place they've always dreamed of. Say yes to that experience that scares you. Give yourself permission to live rich now. And yet, most don't. Why? Because fear creeps in. Fear of not having enough. Fear of looking irresponsible. Fear of stepping outside the formula. And that's where the real conflict begins, not between you and your bank account, but between your dreams and your doubt. You want to live big, but you've been told to live small. You crave adventure, but you cling to security. You imagine freedom, but you chain yourself to saving just in case. Perkins isn't saying throw caution to the wind. He's saying, optimize your life for joy, not just survival. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. You will die. Maybe not today, maybe not this decade, but it's coming. And when it does, the number in your bank account won't matter. The memories will. And your kids? They don't want your leftover millions as much as they want your time now, your energy, your presence, your shared adventures. Waiting to pass on your wealth after you're gone? That's not generosity. That's procrastination disguised as planning. Give while you're alive. Give while it counts. Give them not just money, but moments they'll never forget. Because someday they'll tell the stories. And you want those stories to start with, remember when Dad took us, instead of I wish we had more time with him. The truth about money and time is more complicated than just spending it all. Bill Perkins dives deeper and shows us the math behind life, and it's not about dollars and cents. It's about balancing your energy with your cash flow across your lifespan. He calls this the time value of experiences. Imagine this. You have a $10,000 budget for a vacation. You can spend it all in one trip at age 25, or you can split it into 10 smaller trips over the next 20 years. Which option gives you more joy? Turns out, experiencing the world while your body is strong and your mind is curious creates memories and energy that compound over time. Waiting until retirement, when your body aches, your energy is low, and life's responsibilities have changed, means you might miss the peak moments completely. So the question isn't just how much to spend, but when to spend it. That's why Perkins encourages people to create time buckets, blocks of years carved out for specific experiences. Early 20s, travel and exploration. 30s, building relationships and career. 40s, family time and growth. 50s and beyond, reflection and legacy. By syncing your spending with your life's energy cycles, you get maximum joy and minimum regret. But here's the catch. Most people don't think this way. They lump all their money into one big retirement pot, hoping it will last. And that's a gamble. Because life isn't a straight line. It's a series of waves. And the goal? Ride each wave fully, not just survive to the next. One man Perkins met saved for 40 years for retirement, only to fall seriously ill at 65. His dream of world travel died with him. Another woman waited to take her dream trip until her kids were grown, but by then, her health limited her mobility. She settled for pictures and regrets instead. Those stories echo across America. Too many people are putting off their happiness for an unknown future while missing the present. Yet, spending everything immediately is also foolish. There's a balance. Perkins introduces a practical framework. Calculate your expected lifespan, not to scare you, but to plan wisely. Allocate money for experiences you can physically enjoy during different life stages. Set aside enough to cover essentials and emergencies because unexpected setbacks happen. And finally, aim to die with zero, not because money has no value, but because the true value is in how you use it. But what about the people we leave behind? Isn't inheritance important? Bill tackles that head-on. He argues that most inheritances come too late to really help. Grandparents giving money after death might be too late to influence the lives of their grandchildren in meaningful ways. Instead, he suggests time-shifting your giving, passing wealth and experiences to your loved ones while you're alive and can share in them. Imagine taking your child on a life-changing trip rather than just sending a check decades later. Or funding a startup your niece is passionate about with your guidance by her side. It's about making memories and impact now, not just leaving cold cash. And yet, this flips traditional thinking on its head. Family gatherings become richer. Relationships deepen. You become a living legacy. That's a gift far beyond dollars. But here's where conflict arises again. The system is built for saving, not spending. Banks, financial advisors, social norms, they all push for accumulation, for security. And even within yourself, there's a battle. You want to live fully, but you worry, you hesitate. You listen to that little voice saying, "What if I run out?" It's the most common question Bill hears. How do I know I won't run out of money? And his answer? It's not about guarantees. It's about planning with intention, balancing calculated risk with adventurous spirit. Because playing it 100% safe is often the riskiest move of all. Living for tomorrow that never arrives. There's a story Perkins shares about a man named Rob. Rob was a classic saver. Every paycheck, he stashed money away. No vacations, no splurges. Just working, saving, and planning for the distant future. But one day, Rob's world flipped upside down. He got a diagnosis, something serious. Suddenly, the countdown wasn't just theoretical anymore. Time was no longer an abstract concept, but a ticking clock. In that moment, all the years of saving felt hollow. The question wasn't about how much money he had, but how much life he had left and how he wanted to spend it. Rob realized he had postponed joy for decades, thinking later would be better. But later had arrived, and it wasn't what he expected. He started making a radical shift. He took trips he always dreamed of. He reconnected with old friends. He spent more time with his family. He began living, not just existing. But that change wasn't easy. Years of conditioning don't evaporate overnight. His inner conflict was real. He wanted to live fully but felt guilty for spending so much. He worried about wasting money. He wrestled with societal expectations to keep grinding. This is the battle many Americans face, caught between the security of savings and the thrill of spending. Bill Perkins calls it the time value of money versus the time value of life dilemma. Most financial advice only talks about the first half. How to grow your nest egg. How to maximize returns. But Perkins says that's only half the story. The other half is knowing when to cash in on your wealth to buy experiences that feed your soul. And that timing matters more than you think. Because experiences aren't just fleeting moments. They change your brain. They create dopamine spikes, lasting memories, and a sense of fulfillment no amount of cash can buy. There's a science to it. Studies show people who spend money on experiences rather than things report higher happiness and more lasting satisfaction. And it's not just about luxury. It's about moments like watching your child take their first step, or camping under the stars with friends, or learning a new skill that scares you. These are the memories that stitch together a meaningful life. But here's the catch. Perkins warns against over-optimizing experiences too. He tells the story of a couple who booked extravagant vacations every year, but never truly relaxed. Always stressed about planning, costs, or work piling up. In their rush to live fully, they forgot to be present. The lesson? Living richly isn't just about the big events. It's about savoring the small, everyday moments, those quiet dinners, spontaneous laughter, and simple pleasures. That's where balance comes in. So how do you find it? Bill introduces the concept of the memory dividend. Think of experiences like an investment. The joy you get immediately is the interest. But over time, those memories continue to pay off in happiness, connection, and life satisfaction. The richer your experience portfolio, the bigger your dividend. That means making thoughtful choices about how you spend your time and money, not just impulsive decisions or extreme austerity. And importantly, it means recognizing that time is finite. Once a moment passes, you can't get it back. That's why he encourages people to prioritize experiences aligned with their values, not just what looks good on social media or what others expect. And that's a tough ask in a culture obsessed with accumulation. But it's also a liberating one, because it frees you from the trap of waiting. The trap of always needing just one more dollar before life can truly begin. Instead, you claim your right to live fully today. Imagine the last day of your life, not in a morbid way, but with clarity. What do you want to look back on? What stories will bring a smile? What regrets will you refuse to carry? Bill Perkins challenges us all to live as if that day is closer than we think, not to scare us, but to wake us up. Because time, unlike money, cannot be earned back. He reminds us that life is not a savings account to be hoarded. It's a flow, a river meant to be experienced. And the goal? To die with zero, not just $0, but zero regrets, zero missed chances, zero what ifs. That means leaning into life's adventures now. It means stopping the endless deferral of happiness. And it means building a legacy not just of wealth, but of memories shared and moments lived. Perkins also dives into the power of experiential giving. Not just handing down money, but giving gifts that transform lives, time, trips, experiences, mentorship. He shares stories of parents who took their kids on unforgettable trips, giving them memories worth more than any inheritance. He talks about how giving experiences strengthens bonds and creates stories that last for generations. But there's still resistance. Why? Because fear is powerful. Fear of running out. Fear of judgment. Fear of change. But Perkins argues that fear is the thief of time. And to overcome it, we need to reframe how we think about money and life. He proposes a radical mindset shift. Money is a tool to buy time and experiences, not just a scorecard for success. Every dollar spent is an investment in your life story. And every moment lived fully is a return that compounds in happiness and fulfillment. So how do you start? By asking yourself the tough questions. What experiences have you postponed? Who do you want to spend more time with? What risks have you avoided because of fear? What does enough really mean for you? Because once you answer these, the path becomes clearer. And the more you practice living this way, the easier it becomes. Living intentionally. Spending intentionally. Loving intentionally. Bill Perkins doesn't give you permission to be reckless. He gives you permission to be alive. He challenges the status quo. And he invites you to rewrite your story. To stop saving for a future that may never arrive. To start spending on a present that's here right now. Because life's richest currency isn't cash. It's time well spent. And if you can embrace that, if you can live boldly, love fiercely, and give generously, you truly will die with zero. So now you know. The goal was never to die rich. The goal was to live richly. Not someday. Not when the timing is perfect. Not when you retire. But now. Because every year you wait, every dream you delay, every maybe next time you whisper to yourself, those are pieces of your life you never get back. You were never meant to hoard your time, your energy, or your joy. You were meant to spend it wisely, beautifully, and without regret. So go make the call. Book the trip. Say yes. Share what you have. Do what scares you. Live like your time matters, because it does. You get one shot at this life. Make it unforgettable. And when your final chapter comes, may you smile. Not because you have money left in the bank, but because you have nothing left unlived.